Any of you guys ever eat purslane? I always grab it when I see it when I'm walking around, and I love it. It tastes awesome. But this is the first time I ever had an overabundance of it grow right in my yard. And I'm going to be able to harvest some this year. I was walking through here and I noticed where we disturbed the soil, we got a ton of it growing right on the edge of the gravel here, right here, where I've never really had it in the yard before. It grows really well around disturbed soil, which makes sense that it's growing here. But usually I run into it in open areas or in stuff where you know, something disturbed the soil, whether it's logging or whatever. The stuff grows worldwide, everywhere, but it's really good. I'm surprised it's not more talked about. This is purslane right here. You can tell it because it's got like a smooth, soft, succulent stem there, and it's got kind of puffy leaves. It's got that little yellow flower. That tastes awesome. You know, most survival foods and stuff that people talk about are gross. They taste like you're eating grass. But this stuff is really good. It's almost like a vegetable. I usually don't get enough to cook because I usually run into it in the woods. So it's kind of nice that I got this big patch of it growing here, just kind of ironically. But this stuff is really good. One thing though, is you do not want to confuse that with a plant that looks a lot like it, which is called spurge. And spurge is deadly poison. The way you can tell the difference is when you eat spurge, you die. You know, when you break the stem of spurge, a white milky substance comes out, and the stem of spurge isn't like succulent like this, it's woody. But spurge often grows really close to purslane. Like spurge! Spurge! Don't eat spurge. Oh, this stuff's really flowering here. See that? It's just good raw. Be really good mixed in a salad. Remember, if you're not familiar with spurge, if that's something new to you, look it up, study it before you eat it, make sure you're not eating spurge. This is my bow. It's the Prime Revix. I got it set at 50 pounds. I got an Epsilon arrow rest on there. And the reason I chose this was because it's limb driven. And when I was using string driven dropaways, I was having a hard time tuning. But with this, it's staying in tune pretty well. I got it 3 pins on here. I got sighted for 25, 35, and 45. I can shoot out to 50, and anything below 20, I pretty much straight on. 20 to 25, it's pretty much straight on. Now, I actually have a backup bow. This is my backup bow. There's one major difference between these two bows. They might look identical, but they're not. And the big difference is one of them has a white and one of them has a black D-loop. That's how I keep them apart, or know which one's which. But I've had a lot of issues when I'm in the field because I go through such thick terrain, through dogwood and cattails and stuff, where I knock my bows out a lot. So I just want to make sure I have a backup. So if something happens in the field, I got, you know, something to rely on that's identical, sighted for the same spots, same distances. I shoot them side by side and make sure they're both on, and have the, you know, everything the same except for the D loop, so I can tell them apart. I actually picked up the G5 arrow quiver. I was kind of surprised to find that I couldn't find this on their site. I actually went to fleetfarm, fleetfarm.com, and ordered 2 of these and had them delivered to my fleet farm in town here. I like this 4-arrow quiver. It's real small and compact. I don't like the bigger ones. This is pretty economic. It's not a very expensive quiver, so when I wreck it, I can just get another one. I hope they're not discontinued because they don't have them on their site, but I really like that quiver. For arrows, I'm shooting the Mark II 44 G5 arrows. I did a lot of testing on broadheads this year. I shot a ton of broadheads, trying to find what's right, and I actually ended up going right back to what I had, which is the Striker V2s, again by G5. These things are razor sharp out of the box, and I wanted to use the Montex, but when I tested them side by side, I was getting deeper penetration out of these, and I believe it's because of how sharp they are. They actually, maybe it's a little cocky, but they have a Band-Aid in every box, and you might laugh at that a little bit, but I've actually had to use it. There you have it. I actually have my range a little elevated, so I'm at least slightly higher than the targets. And I don't know if you can see it in the corner, but I got an elevated platform up here to shoot off at too. So I shoot at all the different elevations. And I always make sure I try my broadheads on everything too, the distances and the heights, just to make sure they're flying the same. And those strikers are flying just like my target tips. So I am set up. I got the other bows set up identical to this one, and pretty soon we're going to put them to the test in Nebraska. This is my killing machine, my tree stand. So I haven't touched this thing since last season, really. It's a little bit dirty. I'm getting kicked around the yard a little. I run 5 sticks. I think most people run 4, some people run 3, and I know a lot of people are doing the 1-stick method. I don't really like the 1-stick method because I feel like you're moving too much. I'm pushing my setups right on top of bedded deer. There's a chance that I get busted seen climbing trees. So I try to go to the back side of a tree, sneak up the tree, looking around, get up to the right height where, okay, if I got any higher, you'd see me, any lower, I'm in the profile, and try to set that stand up on the front side of the tree while I'm watching. Look it up, get my sticks right up to the top, and just slide around that tree into that stand real slowly. So, I would rather have overkill on the sticks. I don't want them too spaced. I don't want to be doing jerky movements or fast movements or long, hard movements. I want to go up that tree real slow. So I take 5 sticks, then I can get any height I need. With this weight, the sticks are less than 2 pounds a piece. I mean, it's an extra stick causes nothing on weight. So I know some guys use 8ers. If you do, I would just use it on the bottom stick. I don't think those are too bad of an idea, but I would just use them on the bottom. I wouldn't use them up high. It does change some physical characteristics, and it's not tested for. So we've got a bolt that goes into the middle of this with a rod. This rod you just unscrew and screw in to hold this tight. And this shelf is actually pretty sturdy. You can put things on it. I put my camera arm on it. We've actually packed out pieces of deer, pieces of bear, the hide and head on here. And it's rock solid. A couple bungees will hold everything on there. So it seems like this is still pretty smooth, but sometimes when you let it sit and dirt and water and stuff gets into the threads, like I let this sit outside all year, you can develop a little squeak in here. So I keep the threads on it bow waxed. You take bow wax, wax the threads, and that's why I got such a smooth, quiet thread job. And then when we sell these, we have this stealth strip we put on the sides of this to keep it from making noise. Yeah, you can see the bow wax is still on here pretty steady, pretty good. Some people will put stealth strips around their whole thing so they don't get no clanks. I've got my buckles stealth stripped. But stealth stripping the whole stick is not a bad idea if you are not real careful with how you move around, because one little clank can screw you. So, for me, when I wrap these, we've got this divot here just for this that me and Mario designed. We go around this like this, around the divot up here on the small side, big side first, come back around to the button, and pull this tight. Now some people will use, the cable things to go around the trees and stuff. We tested them out. You don't get as lock solid, and with how light these are, I don't see any reason to really want to cut any more weight out of it, really. I mean, if this works solid, it's quiet, works better for getting in the tree, you have less movement, you have less likely to have a jerk or something when you're right on top of a deer bedded 50 yards from you. Yeah, I'd rather use the straps personally. So this is the stand. Now when you take the stand, you should be able to hold it like this, and see how it doesn't unfold itself? You should have to push it to unfold it, right? Let me undo the strap here. See that? You have to push it to unfold it. If it falls, this isn't tightened correctly. So, same with the seat. The seat should not flop around. You should have to push it. Now, sitting wise, you can develop a squeak. So every year I'll test this. And I'll look and see if it has a squeak. If it does, this is getting pulled apart, bow waxed, and if I pull it apart, I'm replacing the nut on it. And you have to use a grade 8. Same with this, you test that for a squeak. Once a year you should inspect this, you should look at your cables. Make sure there's no damage to your cables. See, this one's loose. So this one I'm going to need to tighten. And I'm going to probably just replace that nut. Yeah, this one's a little loose too. So those will get tightened and replaced, and you got to expect that after 100 sits last year. I have stealth strips around the perimeter here, and I have some rubber tape here and here, which are the contact spots for the seat, so that I don't have any noise there. But the perimeter up here is taped, and especially I like to tape the cables with stealth strips. He has actually a cable silencers, he calls them, on stealthoutdoors.com. The reason I like to have these taped is with the stealth strips is because that your boots on any kind of rubbery or plasticky finish will squeak when they get wet. So I don't want no squeak there, because my boots come in contact with that all the time. Now the way the stand is designed, I have these ears on the outside back here, so you can literally step to the outsides of these cables to shoot behind a tree, or more importantly, if you're going to use it kind of like a saddle feature where you put it on the tree backwards, especially if you have like a tree slanted like this, you ain't going to have the stand on this side like this, so you put the stand over here, and then you adjust the seat all the way down so you can sit on it level, and you sit on it backwards, and I have cutouts here and here that me and Mario put in there to put your feet on this side, sit comfortably facing the tree, and you can kind of sit like a saddle. So this tree, this stand, what I like is you can get versatility out of any tree. You can get into a cedar tree where there's so many limbs you couldn't get a saddle on the backside. You can get into, you know, where you just got a little narrow hole to shoot out of. You can get into a bush. I get into buckthorn trees that are just tangles all the time. And you can get into the same trees that people saddle hunt on, and you can literally use your saddle gear too to hunt out of this. So I think it fits all needs, and maybe I'm biased. So the way you put the strap on is when you fold this thing flat. Me and Mario designed it with this divot here, right? So that you can come back around, come back up to the button, put it around the button, and pull it tight. Now one other add-on that we did, or at least that I did, is I got gunslings. I didn't like just the black straps, but I really don't want any kind of molly pack or anything like that. This thing is so light that you don't need that, and things hanging below the stand get noticed. Little straps that got a little camo to them, nah, not so much. But if you put some giant pack under here, the side profile isn't gonna look like branches anymore. This is designed to look like branches. You see right through it, you see the stuff behind it, with these thin rungs. You start putting big stuff under here, now you get this big blob sticking out of the tree. And deer notice things. If you went down into your living room and your sofa was moved over to the other side of the room from when you went upstairs the night before, you'd notice. A deer's gonna notice something different when he comes out of his bedroom. So I want that to be as low profile as possible. So this is really comfortable, and it's more comfortable than the black straps to me. But we had a lot of people that wanted the black straps, wanted the price as low as possible, and you got people that want the molly straps and stuff, so we went with the cheap straps, and if somebody wants to get something else, they can. These things, they literally sell them at Fleet Farm or Gander Mountain for like $9 or $10 a piece, and you just find two that match. So as far as footwear goes, I was using a lot of the muck boots and tied wee boots and those types of things for several years, and it was a frustration because no matter what brand I bought, whether it was Lacrosse or muck or tied wee, it just wouldn't last. And I would go through more than 2 pairs of boots in a season. All the Chinese boots are made with a mixture of rubber and plastic, so they break down real quick. The neoprene uppers rip as soon as you hit a piece of barbed wire or a thorn tree or anything. They just rip. And I was constantly having wet feet, constantly having a problem with them. And then I found gum leaf. And I've been using gum leaf ever since. I really like these. They're not made in China, they're made in Europe. Gum Leaf USA is what they're called. One thing is, they got a really nice tight collar. These are my go-to boot right here, this one. They got a really tight collar on it up here, so it fits me really well. I can get my pants over the top of it so no ticks or thorns or burdocks or anything are falling in there. Or if I'm in deep water, I still have enough room to stuff my pants on the inside. I really like the one solid boot. I don't think there's too much can go wrong with this. The solid rubber, these ones I've been running, I don't know if you can tell, they're a little scuffed up. I've been running these for 2 years now, and really, other than the scuffs that are on them, just marks, not even a cut. These things are still like new, and still performing well, and I really like them. Now, I also got their Royal Zips, which is this boot. And this boot's more expensive, and more people tend to buy this one than those. I really kind of like the solid ones better, personally. But these ones, a lot of people like them because they can tighten them around their ankles. They're easier to clean. You can zip it down, you can get in there better. Where these, I've gone through in the muck, and then you got to get in there and try to find a way to clean the muck out of them. One big advantage on both of these boots is that the height is much higher than the muck boots or the tide weaves. The tide weaves that I had the last pair were up to here, and it was just like I would keep hitting water, it was just over the top. And with these, I'm almost up to my knees. My knees are right here. So any higher, I wouldn't be able to bend my knees. And any lower, and you'd have more water going over the top, basically. So the height on them is really good. The quality is really good. The downfall is you pay a lot of money for them. They are probably triple what the tide weaves cost, but in the long run, these will last you more than 3 or 4 pairs of the other boots. Probably at least more than 4 pairs. So you will save money by buying these. And for me personally, the last thing I want to do is be on a hunt and hit a piece of barbed wire on a road trip, rip my boot, and I got no boots for the hunt. And then I'm hunting soaked the whole time, living out of a tent with wet feet. So I want something quality that I can depend on a road trip, that I don't have to have backup pairs of boots like I have to have a backup bow, you know. My other go-to has been Lathrop & Sons boots. These are a leather boot that tightens around your feet. It's got ball bearing tighteners. I mean, it just locks solid. Really good, high quality, well-built boot by a guy in Illinois who's a foot doctor. He designed these to fit people's feet perfect. I really love these, but I just use them on dry land, so you probably don't see them a lot. I'm sure I'll be using them a lot when we're down in Nebraska. And then a lot of people ask me what I use for a spray to spray down. I use Deep Woods Off. That's what I spray down with. Like the odor, keeps the bugs off, keeps the ticks off. Riles up all the scent lock people. This is my Hunter Safety Systems vest. Now it's not ideal, but I think it's about the best there is on the market. I wish somebody would come up with something better, like zippered pockets, you know, instead of having stuff where stuff can fall out. But it does have a lot of pockets. It has 3 per side over here, these 2. But I just wish they were zippered. But it does work fairly well. What I like about the Hunter Safety System vest is it's real easy to put on, dark, light, doesn't matter, just a couple clips. And all the pockets. I'm kind of a disorganized guy, so to organize myself, each pocket has particular items in it that are in there all the time. If I take them out, I make sure I put them right back in, so I always have them. So my essentials are carried on me. I don't bring a backpack. I don't want all that extra gear. I don't want a backpack sticking out from the tree. Anything you stick out from a tree, deer spot that. I want to blend into the tree. I just want to be a slim line, you know, get up against it, blend in, use the bow to camo my face, and as soon as I have a shot, take it. So I want everything I need in this vest. So this pocket here always has my bow rope for hoisting and lowering my bow, which is kind of key because if you carry your bow up and down, it makes a lot of movement. And I tend to set up right on top of those deer so I get daylight movement. This pocket here, right in easy reach, milkweed. It's always stuffed with milkweed. So then this pocket, I have a saw in case I got to clip a branch along the tree. In Wisconsin, we can trim along the trees that we're in, or we can cut invasive species. And a flashlight for tracking. Little clippers, little tiny branches, silent, clip, clip. In that pocket I also have my release. I'm using a True Fire release. I've been using this release for, I don't know, 5-6 years now. It's gone through a few different bows, and it just works flawlessly. It's never failed me, so I continue to use it. So also in that pocket, I have a Gerber knife. Now, I choose Gerber because it's inexpensive. but it's got real high grade stainless steel blades. They're made in America and they're razor sharp. So this will hold an edge much greater than a tool steel or something like that. This high grade stainless just holds an edge. It's the same stuff they make razor blades and stuff out of. It will eventually get dull and either need to be resharpened or replaced. They're cheap enough you can just buy a new one and use it as a toolbox tool once it gets dull. Because this blade will last 3-4 years. As long as I'm not hitting bone with it, it lasts pretty good. Gerber makes great field knives. So I've got a compass in this pocket. I don't need that on every hunt, but I have it in here so I have it when I need it. I have my tether to get around the tree to climb and to attach me to the tree. That's always in here too. I got a headlamp for getting in and out so I don't get shot. I used to always navigate to tree stands with no light when I was younger, and used to let my eyes acclimate to the darkness, and I could see fine and get through and feel like I'm not alerting anything. But I found out the hard way that's a fairly dangerous thing to do. So now I kind of go out lit up like a Christmas tree. And that's it for the vest. I also wear pants. Believe it or not, I wear pants when I go hunting. The ones I'm wearing today are Osseo gear pants. I don't know if you can see them. I'll shine this down once. These are Osseo pants. They're kind of a stretchy material. They've got a lot of pockets where I can put things. Right here I got my wallet. Got another pocket here for my phone. And I always have pants that have a cargo pocket for my camera. So I have my full-size camera right here. So Osseo has these in gray and in tan, and they actually have a lifetime guarantee on these pants, which I think is amazing. I just started using them. I also like going to like Home Depot, picking up work pants. They're real heavy denim in the browns and the grays, and they actually have some really good olive drab ones that blend in really well. And they've always got the cargo pockets and stuff, plenty of space to put things, so I don't have to have a backpack. Even if you want to bring a snack with you or something, or a bottle of water, you can fit them in those pockets. Now if I need anything else, like say a pair of binoculars, I like Mavens. These are 10x50s and they're pretty compact for 10x50s. But if I need these are always in my truck. I don't pack them on every hunt, but now like say when I go to Nebraska, it's going to be pretty open terrain. These will probably be on every hunt. I also have a grunt call. This one's a Rod Benson grunt call. I carry these on a lot of hunts, not every hunt. If I start getting towards pre-rut, this will actually go in one of these pockets. I also have a Havalon knife. I'm sure a lot of you use these nowadays with the replaceable blades. And if I'm going to actually cut up the deer in the field, this will be with me. But in Wisconsin, we usually don't cut them up in the field because of all the laws associated with what you're going to leave and what you can't. You pretty much have to take the whole deer out anyways. You have to get out in quarters. You can't leave anything in the woods because of CWD, and it's not worth it. We take the whole deer out here. Now, some other states and stuff where we can dissect the deer where we drop it, this will probably come along. Some of my road trips, particularly when I go bear hunting, but now on some of these remote deer hunts too, I'll take light sticks. If I got to give somebody points on where to meet me, I'll get one of these up in a tree, so when they start getting close they can see where I'm at. If I have to leave a deer overnight, like per se when we're going to Nebraska, coming up here in a couple weeks, I have to be out of that woods before 2 hours after dark, and it's a 2-hour walk to the areas we've got mapped out, so there's no way I'm getting a deer out that night. So I'm going to field dress it. I'm going to throw a jacket and a stinky undershirt over the top of it, try to keep the coyotes off of it. If I have time, I might hoist it into a tree and put up a glow stick, and this will glow for into the next day quite a bit, so the next morning we can be out there taking care of that deer before anything gets at it or before it gets bad on us. But the glow sticks come in handy for finding an exact spot where you left something or where you want somebody to meet you in the dark. And they're cheap as hell. I don't carry them with me, but on particular hunts I might have them for that reason. I know they've come in real handy on the bear hunts for marking where a bear is or marking last blood. And they're only a couple bucks each. Hunting Beast Gear is making camera arms now. I've been using the camera arm for quite a while. I'm not going to show it in depth because it's not on the market yet, but it's about to be. That lays flat on my tree stand. You can put it in a pocket, the new model. But I attach it to my tree stand. So this one I'm not carrying. And I know it sounds like I went through a lot of stuff, but that's just a couple pockets. It's no backpack, and I think that's critical. So there you have it. That's all I take with me. You know, if I'm going on a very remote all-day hunt or something, I'd probably have a bottle of water and a sandwich, and I'm going to hear that. But I normally ain't going on those kind of hunts. Maybe when I'm out of state and I got to navigate way back, I might not want to come back out. I might do my scouting out there, then I might take something to eat. But I think the few things I take to eat I can stuff in a pocket, and when I get out for the night, we'll go out to dinner or something, or go out to eat, or I'll have something at the campsite ready to go. I don't think the whole packing a lunch for a one hunt is really necessary. Bottle of water maybe, and some of this arid stuff, but some people go overboard. A lot of people take more on, you know, a one-day hunting trip than I take on a week-long camping trip. Minimalize that. You don't need all that crap. Think about all the stuff you got in that pack that you very rarely use, and you can do what I do. It's in the truck if you need it.